All right, good morning, sixth graders, and welcome back to another exciting social studies lesson. Today is our second day talking about Mesopotamia, the first civilization. We're going to be answering the question, how did Mesopotamians protect and govern their city-states? City-states is a new vocabulary term that we will be finding out about today. So, before we begin, I need you to take about 2 minutes to answer the review questions. Mesopotamia has a nickname, the Fertile Crescent. Why? Mesopotamia has another nickname, the Cradle of Civilization. Why? And Mesopotamia is also called the land between the rivers. And why is that? So, answering those three questions about the three nicknames that Mesopotamia has. All right, welcome back. Hopefully, you were able to answer these three questions. If not, we are going over them right now. So, Mesopotamia's first nickname, the Fertile Crescent, I want you to think of a crescent moon shape, as you can see on your screen. And then, if you picture the shape but turn it slightly, you can see on the right, it also makes a crescent shape. So, it's a crescent shape, and the land there was extremely fertile because of the rivers. So it got the nickname the Fertile Crescent because of its crescent shape of fertile land. This is just a fun fact that New Orleans has a similar nickname. That we are known as the Crescent City because the Mississippi River also makes a crescent shape in some of its bends, as you can see on the picture right here. Lastly, I'm sorry. This is the second nickname. My bad. Second nickname. The cradle of civilization. Um, a cradle is something that a baby stays in. And Mesopotamia got known as the cradle of civilization because it was the first major civilization, basically the birth of civilization. Think of a baby cradle for this nickname. And lastly, Mesopotamia is also called the land between the rivers because it was settled in between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, making it perfect for human settlement. All right, we're going to be talking about Mesopotamia as a civilization today, and so how it protected itself and how it governed itself. A civilization is a group of people who share a culture, government, and way of life. Mesopotamia became a region with a common language and culture, but it was divided into many smaller units of government called city-states. City-states were small, like cities, but ruled themselves independently as if they were their own countries. So all these city-states of Mesopotamia had their own governments, but they were all within Mesopotamia, so it was all like one place. It would be like though if New Orleans shared culture and language with the rest of the United States, but we governed ourselves totally separately. No President Obama, no national army or taxes, just the rules and laws of New Orleans. That's how it was in Mesopotamia. Each city ruled itself. In Mesopotamia, city-states were surrounded by farm fields, which were then surrounded by mud brick walls to protect the entire city from invaders. Take this time now to answer questions 1 and 2 on your page. Welcome back. The first Mesopotamian city-states were found in the region of Sumer. Sumerian city-states became very advanced over time. As their societies became more complicated, they needed a government to make sure everything ran smoothly. In the early days of Sumer, priests were the head of the government. Farmers believed that the success of their crops depended upon the blessings of the gods. And notice how I say gods with an S. That's because people of ancient Mesopotamia believed in many different gods, which we will talk more about later. The priests were the ones who could communicate with the gods. The priests oversaw the digging and maintenance of the irrigation ditches. They also demanded parts of each farmer's crop as taxes. The crops collected as taxes were stored in the middle of the city to distribute to the poor, to have in case of emergencies, or to trade with other civilizations. This image is a collection of statues that were found from ancient Mesopotamia, and these small statues are actually created to honor the priests. So go ahead and answer questions 3 and 4 on your page. All right, welcome back. In times of war, however, the priests did not lead the city. Instead, the men of the city chose a tough fighter who could command the city's soldiers. At first, a commander's power ended as soon as the war was over. But over time, commanders became the full-time rulers of the city-states. They became kings, also called monarchs. Power passed down from each monarch to his son. So power was passed down from each monarch to his son. So families kept control for hundreds of years. These families who stayed in power over long periods of time were called dynasties. And the last thing you need to answer on your page are questions 5 and 6. I hope you learned a lot about how Mesopotamia governed itself and how they protected themselves. And as always, sixth graders, remember to keep it 100.